Hey guys, and welcome back to another Off the Cuff. I have been gone for a while, and I apologise for that. I'll get into it a bit more another time, but it was kind of a mixture of things: health, a couple of trips to hospital, and self-doubt and thinking that other people are already doing it, so why bother? But then I applied for monetization, not to monetize the episodes I do, because like I've told people before, unless you're getting 30,000, 40,000 views per episode and you're putting out 2 or 3 a day, you're not really going to be making any money anyway, and you're just going to be annoying your audience with a load of adverts. But I already had money in my AdSense account from when Google bought YouTube, and I thought if I do a few streams and someone donates some money here or there, I could put it towards a new computer and I can get the money out that they owe me. But despite having all of the boxes ticked, which I had worked diligently to make sure that I had done, they turned me down because they said I produce harmful content, which I find ironic. But that's just modern day life in the West, I guess. So anyway, I felt like I should continue doing it because I enjoy doing it. I really like interacting with my audience, and also I'm kind of doing it sort of as a diary, because I have a lot of people that will say to me, well, when did this happen? Do you have any proof of that, or this or that? And sometimes, because I didn't bother doing a video because I thought, well, everyone else has done it, I can't remember when it was or what was said, so I thought I would just start doing a few again, a bit like a diary. So today we're going to have a look at, briefly, the situation with Whoopi Goldberg. So for those of you that don't know, Whoopi was recently suspended from her anchor spot on the sort of midday show The View, which is, if you're in the UK, very similar to Loose Women, which is, it's basically a gossip show. It tends to be quite politically correct, very politically correct, and there's been a lot of buffoonery taken from that show. So anyway, she's getting paid, I think, $96,000 a week to be on there. And listen, Whoopi is left-wing, but she seems like a good person most of the time. She does have some bizarre takes, but she's also like a product of her situation. Someone that has come from nothing, is now incredibly wealthy, and she'll probably have a little bit of guilt, and also tends to just go along with the mainstream media, and so she just becomes a product of her situation. And so what happened was, she essentially, well, let me show you. This is what she said.
Well, also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
It is.
No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's
Well,
about
but
going
it's
after
not
Jews
about
and
race.
defeating
But these are two
Romans.
white groups of people.
Yikes. So, I'm sure there's nothing, she didn't mean anything by it, but I think the reason why this is sort of standing out to so many people is because you can see her colleagues on the show, you can see how awkward they feel when she says something that we've been talking about and hammering into people's brains for so long as this terrible, racist incident is not about race, and everyone's like, yeah, this is gonna be terrible. But the main thing is, she was suspended for 2 weeks, and really it was just because there was so much pressure to do that. But meanwhile, we have seen hundreds of people, and not just like conservative, libertarian, centrist, normal people, being suspended for the most ridiculous things, like the most soft things. Like take Joe Rogan, says he's left himself. He says he's a lefty. He says it all the time. And they're going after him because he's not going along with the establishment line. And, in this incidents, Whoopi kind of says something slightly insane, and everyone's really angry now that she's getting suspended, and even she is angry. So she did a couple of shows, which obviously her public relations team were like, listen, you need to do this, you've got to go on, explain yourself, apologise, and she didn't really apologise, she just kind of explained herself. So obviously many people are comparing this to Gina Carano. So Gina Carano, many people know and love her. She was a UFC fighter and then a turned actress, and she is a sort of centrist, centre-right person. She's never like pushed her politics openly on people, as in she's never said like vote Conservative or whatever, or don't vote for Democrats. But I think because she's quite a classically minded person when it comes to things like gender and sort of liberty and that's those sorts of things, people deemed her cancel worthy. And I find it ironic that after hundreds of normal people, so sort of non-woke people, being cancelled, as soon as somebody from their side has the tiniest whiff of cancellation, a 2-week suspension, you know, they say things like this.
Whoopi Goldberg? Everyone knows Whoopi Goldberg. She's been on TV for decades. She's been putting herself out there for decades. If you don't know her heart, then you haven't been watching. And so that's why the 2-week suspension to me seems more about something else, and something that maybe we need to start putting behind us, which is this unbelievable need to punish and judge people
and cancel
when they've
people.
made a mistake.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is something that is just going to like start getting ridiculous. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg is canceled, that would be the end of this all. This cancel culture is getting so out of hand.
And just to remind you, Gina Carano, all she did to lose her job at The Mandalorian, one of the biggest shows of that year, she just said, with regards to the run-up to the election, trying to have a conversation with politics nowadays, I believe people are treating certain people in the same vein that the people pre-World War II were treating the Jews. So they were kind of putting a label on them. They were shunned from society. They would be to be avoided at all costs. There were a lot of lies spread and misinformation. There was a lot of tarring people with the same brush. So if 1 or 2 people had done something, they would kind of say the whole group had done it. So I think what she said actually made sense. People always say, like, if you bring up Nazis or World War II things, you kind of lose people fairly quickly, which there's some truth in that, definitely. But what she said was, I think, pretty obvious to everyone. Politics is toxic nowadays, and people are losing their marbles. I think losing their hold on reality. I think a lot of people are. When people are going after Joe Rogan, a confessed lefty, for being too alt-right or whatever, what are we doing? So yeah, I think it was quite interesting to compare them. Carano versus Whoopi. One was fired and sort of shunned forever, never to be let back in again, and the other was given a 2-week suspension. And when you look at the differences between what they said, I would like to, imagine if you swapped what they said. So imagine if Gina Carano said that the Holocaust was not about race. If she'd said that, and Whoopi had said, I think conversations around politics are kind of toxic at the moment, and I think people are tarring certain people with the same brush, I wonder if the outcomes would have been the same. Not sure that they would have been. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you again soon.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish